What would I do if I had to make $7,000 within 6 days and I had to make it? In this video, I want to go over exactly what I would do in that situation and what I personally would do if I had to start all over in business and make that amount of money in that time frame. And more specifically in this video, going to give you a step-by-step framework that you can actually take action on to achieve the same results. And the reason as to why I know this works is because, first of all, I know it worked for myself and it also worked for people that I worked with. Like Andre, he closed a $10,000 deal. Jacob closed a $6,000 deal. Benjamin closed a $7,500 deal, and countless more. And every single one of them did it very quickly. So in this video, we're gonna dive into the exact strategies that we've implemented to be able to achieve those results. And I'm going to give you actionable steps that you can follow for you to be able to do the same thing. If you're watching this video and you already run an agency, or maybe you don't even have a business, listen up, because this is going to be incredibly valuable. And I'm gonna make sure that I provide you with actionable steps and insights. I'm not going to talk about mindset and tell you to, think differently and do these things. I'm actually going to tell you step by step what you should do and then why you should do it. And again, this comes from first-hand experience. This comes from the experience that I've had with myself and also the experience that I've gained with the clients that I've worked with so far. So if I had to make $7,000 within 6 days, here's exactly what I would do. The first thing that I want to talk about here is, if you're not running a business yet, then usually the best way to go is the online service-based route. The reason for that is simple. Products usually require more upfront investment. And if you don't run a business yet, chances are you don't really have a lot of money to invest upfront into a business before it actually provides you with cash flow. Meaning services are usually great because you can charge high ticket for them and you don't necessarily have to have a lot of upfront investment. Now, types of services, you can really choose anything there. You can mow people's lawns, you can really do anything. But I just genuinely believe online service-based is the best route to go for the simple reason that it's actually scalable. Mowing lawns is only scalable to a certain point, and then you have to hire a team, and then over time your margins shrink, for example. Online, you can keep everything very lean and streamlined. So in my opinion, if you don't run a business yet and if you don't have much money, the best thing you can do is start an online service-based business. And arguably, any online service-based business that you start falls under the umbrella of an agency. So essentially starting an agency. And that's exactly what I've done myself 3 years ago when I was 19, broke and very lost in life. And it has gotten me to a point where I have a solid amount of financial freedom and I'm actually building the career path that I always wanted to build. So it's been the best decision of my entire life, career-wise, to actually go the agency route. And if you're in that situation, if you don't have much money, maybe you're running an agency already, let this be a reminder that you're on the right track. You just have to change the details. Which brings me to my first point. Most people tend to look at macro over micro. And what I mean by that is that they don't necessarily look into detail on why certain things don't work. They tend to change the macro when problems arise. I'll give you an example about this. So most people, when they start an agency, they try to sign the first few clients. They don't sign anyone, make no money, they get rejected a bunch of times. And then what happens is they now switch to e-commerce and they try dropshipping. That is a very good example of someone changing the macro even though the micro is the problem. Because fundamentally speaking, signing clients with an agency is possible, and signing high ticket clients with an agency within a short time frame is also possible. So if you don't do it, then it's not a problem of the agency, it's a problem of what you exactly do in detail in the agency. If I had to make $7,000 within 6 days, the thing I would do is, first of all, I would obsess over the marketing and sales. The only thing I would be focused on is acquisition, not learning the service delivery, not learning the business model, not learning about anything, but how can I close clients? That's the first step. Because without clients, you can't deliver a service. And a lot of people find themselves in the trap of trying to figure out the service delivery before even signing a client, which fundamentally speaking just doesn't make any sense, because you can only make your service delivery better based upon data of your clients. You have to have an MVP, minimum viable product. Meaning you have to have a product that you're almost ashamed of when you're first signing clients for them to give you feedback, because there are parts of the product that you might think are important that they actually don't care about. And the best way to find out is to sign a client, get feedback, and then rapidly improve. So the client's results are good, they are happy, but you also don't waste your time building parts of a product that people don't really care about. So the first 6 days of you trying to make 7,000, the only thing you should obsess over is acquisition. More importantly, marketing and sales. Now, marketing and sales, to divide this quickly, sales is just about the sales call. So I would educate myself on how to actually conduct a sales call as soon as I have one booked. Which brings me to my next point. In business, always do things just in time, never just in case. You shouldn't read a book about sales just in case you book a sales call. You should read the book, watch the video, and educate yourself and train yourself when you have a call booked. Because that gives you the urgency to A, do it well and do it fast, and B, it makes you actually efficient with your time because you're not trying to prepare for 100 different problems when in reality 99 of them either way won't come up. So it's just a waste of time. Do things just in time, never just in case. So obsess over the acquisition, do things just in time, never just in case, and be focused on the marketing first of all. If you are able to book 2-3 sales calls within those 6 days, which is pretty achievable, you're already done because one of these calls you can close if you know what you're doing. So for the marketing, if you don't have money, you cannot run ads. If you do have money, run ads immediately because ads is the fastest way to get leads, get traction, and close clients. You could close a client within 2-3 days if you have the budget to run ads. If you do not have budget to run ads, I would recommend you go heavy on outreach because although content, for example, is a great way to get clients, it's not a great way to get clients fast because the chances of you going viral with your content when you're first starting out are incredibly low. So make sure to focus and dial in on the outreach part. Now, what type of outreach should you do? A lot of people obsess over this idea that you should either do volume and send a lot of messages or do a lot of cold calls, or you should go the quality route and only send very good personalized pitches. And I'm a big believer in the fact that humans tend to always see things black and white, but you can actually see it as a spectrum. And I'm a fundamental believer that you can combine volume and quality. You can combine quantity and quality at the same time. So what you're gonna do is you're gonna, first of all, figure out who your ICP is. You need to have a target audience that you A, ideally have experience with, that you B, ideally want to work with, that has a big enough market. It should be an audience that can actually afford your service. Ideally, the market should be growing and ideally the market should be in pain. If it ticks those 6 boxes, it's a good market for you. As soon as you identified and established your ICP, you now need to understand what platforms these people actually reside on. And what I mean by that is, are they more on LinkedIn? Are they more on Instagram? What platforms do they usually use? Identify that. Now you know who your ICP is and you know what platform they're on. So now you have to do outreach, again, quality and quantity combined. And the way you do that is you have a solidly generic opener that sparks curiosity. And then afterwards, when you do get the replies and when you are in the conversations, you provide a lot of personalized value and put a lot of effort into the conversation. That's the first few steps. So again, to reiterate this, you identify exactly what your target market is based upon these 6 boxes that you have to tick. Now you know your ICP. Now identify what platforms these people reside on to actually be able to reach out to them. Now here you want to combine quality and quantity. You want to send as many messages as you possibly can. If you have multiple different accounts, leverage that as well. Keep in mind that you want to interact with people's profiles before actually reaching out, so deliverability gets increased and the view rate gets increased as well. With the opener, you want to spark curiosity. An opener that we've personally used about a year ago, which worked very well, which is a good example of what sparks curiosity, was this. Hey John, we recently scaled one of our clients, Alex, from 0 to 50K a month cash profit within 2.5 months, open to hear more. Simple opener, nothing fancy. You can send a lot of those messages every single day, but it does spark a lot of curiosity. Now, super important, listen up. Here, please make sure that you take this opener, you adjust it a bit, and you give it your own tone and style. Be creative with this. This is just an example. Doesn't mean this exact one is gonna work for you. But keep in mind that the opener has to spark curiosity for them to engage in the conversation. Keep in mind as well, when I started my first agency, only thing I did was send 50 outreaches per day, every single day, on Facebook to real estate agents. And it took me about 7 to 8 weeks. And I closed 3 paying clients, one for $600 upfront, which was my first ever client, one for $1,500 upfront, my second ever client, and one for $300 upfront, my third ever client. I did that within about 2 months, 2.5 months. And keep in mind, back then, I knew nothing. My opener was really bad. I knew nothing about deliverability. I just used to spam messages. I knew nothing about sales. I literally had 4 to 5 follow-up calls with my first ever client. The whole point I want to make here is that just with the information I'm giving you in this video, you'll be able to do it a lot faster, and you can hit the goal of $7,000 within 6 days. Pretty easy if you just follow this correctly. Now that you know that you first have to find your ICP, then you have to go on the right platform, then you have to create the right opener, it's go time. You have to do this every single day with as much volume as humanly possible. So leverage the accounts that you have. If you have a Facebook account, if you have an Instagram account, if you have a Twitter account, any accounts that you have, LinkedIn, use them and send as many outreaches as you can on those platforms every single day without your account getting restricted or banned. So be aware of that, not nice. And then from there, you'll start getting replies. You'll start getting responses. From here, you want to have good conversations with these people. The most important thing you need to understand here is you're talking to human beings. So keep the conversations human and keep it human first. Actually care about them and actually care about their situation and engage with them. Keep in mind that you have to reply very quickly here, right? If they send you a text, you should be replying within 60 seconds maximum. And it's not hard to do that because you'll either way not have that many conversations. And if you just do that in the conversations and have one goal in front of your eyes, which is in that conversation, you want to find their pain point and then let them talk about that pain as much as possible, and then book them in. If you can do that, you'll get bookings, then you learn sales and you close them. Very simple. So how do you actually elicit pain out of prospects in a conversation? It's a very simple process. So what you have to do is you have to have a human conversation. At some point in the conversation, you're gonna find a point in time where it's a good time to ask about what's, for example, potentially stopping them from actually getting to their goal. They then give you their pain point. And as soon as you have it, you want to ask them how long they've had it for, what they've tried in the past to actually solve that problem, and why didn't that work out? And as soon as you go about 2 to 3 questions deep into their pain, you'll very quickly bring up pain in them, and then you can tell them, okay, John, to be honest with you, I might potentially be able to help you with that. Would you be free to jump on a call either today at 5 p.m. or tomorrow at 3 p.m.? Obviously, also put in the time zone because they might not be in your time zone. Always give them 2 different options. Never say, do you want to hop on a call? Because that gives them the option to say yes or no. Just give them 2 options. You want to hop on today at 5 or tomorrow at 3. Which one suits you better? Easy. You book them in. In between, make sure to educate them, right? Still continue having the conversation even though the call is already booked. Educate them on a couple of things, send them some value, create lead magnets, and do that. Educate yourself on the sales process. For the sales process, use the closer framework. If you want me to make a video on that, just put it down in the comment section right now and I can actually go through the closer framework and what that entails and how you can actually close people. And then if you can just book 2 to 3 calls within those couple of days, you'll have a chance of making $7,000 within 6 days. Now, is this a guaranteed route to do it? No. There are no guarantees in life and no guarantees in business whatsoever. No one can guarantee you anything. But this is the step-by-step process that you should follow if you want to make 7K in 6 days. And it is very achievable because I've done it myself and I've had clients do it as well. So to reiterate this and make sure that it's top of mind and you can actually take action upon this after this video. Identify your ICP based upon the 6 points that they have to tick that I spoke about in the video. ICP. Then identify what platforms your ICP resides on most. Identified. Then create an opener that creates curiosity. From there, have human conversations with them. When you have an entry to ask about the problem and the pain they have, ask it. Go 2 to 3 questions deep into that problem. Bring out the pain that way, right? By asking questions about the problem. Then propose either talking, for example, today or tomorrow. Give them 2 options, book them in. In between that time of them having booked in and the call taking place, you need to frame them, meaning continue the conversation, be likable, create trust in them. Send them some value, send them a free lead magnet, send them a PDF, send them a video of you going over a certain topic. Send them something that creates authority in your positioning. That's super important. And then make sure to send them a couple of reminders about the call, send them some value so they actually show up. You can easily book 2, 3, 4 calls within those 6 days. And from there, on those calls, use the closer framework to be able to close them. And that's how you make $7,000 within 6 days from complete zero, even if you're a complete beginner. This video was very, very intense and very value packed. I know I ran through these things a lot and very fast. If you do want to implement this, I would recommend you rewatch this video 2 to 3 times. If you have any questions, put them down in the comment section right now. If you do want to see more of these videos in the future, subscribe to the channel right now because I will be putting out 2 videos a week from here on. Also, if you want me to drop that video on the closer framework and how that works and how I and my clients personally leverage it, then just, let me know in the comment section down below and I'll drop that video for you as well. And if you did like the video and found a lot of value, like it right now and I'll see you in the next one.